Hola, hello. Excuse me for the pronunciation in Korea, but 안녕하세요. My name is Geray Fernandez. Thank you. My name is Geray Fernandez. I'm work in the green hydrogen department at Iberdrola. And first of all, I want to thank the organization and also Kotra for inviting Iberdrola to this event. It had been 3 wonderful days with a lot of meeting with Korean companies. And also for me, it have been an opportunity to visit like a tourist Seoul, so it's been wonderful. So thank you very much for that. So let me talk a little bit about Iberdrola and what we do and what we are doing. Iberdrola is a Spanish global energy utility, and Iberdrola anticipated the transition, the energy transition 20 years ago with a firm commitment to renewable energies. Today, we can say that we are a global leader in renewable energies. We have more than 38 gigawatts installed globally. We also invest a lot of money in smart networks because it gives us the opportunity to integrate this amount of renewable in the system and in the grid energy system. And also, we are betting on too much in the energy storage, not only in the batteries, but also through hydropower stations. For example, in Portugal, we built recently hydropower of more than 1 gigawatt, and we also have a lot of hydro assets in Spain. So here you can see that Iberdrola is a world global leader in renewable energies with more than 38 gigawatts installed globally. So we are focused mainly in 5 zones or areas or countries that are United States, Mexico, and Brazil in the American zone, and also in Europe, in the UK, and of course Spain because it's our main market. But we are also growing very fast. We have a lot of projects under development and a big pipeline in the Asia Pacific zone. For example, in Japan and also in Australia, we have more than 1 gigawatt installed in Australia nowadays. So let me explain in detail this is not working. Yes, sorry. Let me explain our presence in every country. So, for example, in USA with the brand Avangrid, we have more than 8 gigawatts of renewable capacity, mainly in onshore wind, and we are now the 3rd wind company of the United States. Talking about Mexico, we have more than 1 gigawatt of renewable capacity, mainly in onshore wind, but also in photovoltaic, and we are the first private power producer in this country. Talking about Brazil, we are proud to say that we have more than 4 gigawatts of renewable capacity, mainly hydro, because you know Brazil has a lot of hydro, and also onshore wind. And we are the largest distributor by number of customers in this country. In the United States, we have more than 3 gigawatts of renewable capacity, mainly wind. And in this country, we are very strong, not only in onshore, but also in offshore wind. So we are the first wind power producer in UK. Spain, of course, is our main market. So here we have more than 19 gigawatts of renewable capacity, mainly hydro and offshore wind. So we are the largest utility by market capitalization in not only in Spain, also in the European Union, and the first wind producer. Talking about Europe, we have a big presence in most of the main countries in Europe. We have more than 1 gigawatt of renewable capacity, maybe wind, both onshore and offshore. So we have a big presence in countries like Germany, France, Portugal, Italy, Poland, Hungary, and also in Greece and Romania. And what about Asia Pacific? We want to expand our renewable assets in these countries. So, for example, here in South Korea, we have a cooperation agreement with GS Energy to develop projects in this country. We also have in Japan, we purchased a local developer called Acacia Renovables. So we have a portfolio of around 4 gigawatts. In Vietnam, we acquired another company with 550 megawatts of renewable pipeline. Also in Taiwan, we have a big portfolio. And in Australia, as I said before, with the purchase of Infigen Energy, we have more than 1 gigawatt of installed capacity nowadays. And this is not, Iberdrola is going to go forward. Of course, we are going to invest for the following years in renewable energies. So our objective is to have 60 gigawatts by 2025, that is tomorrow, very near. And in 2030, we have an objective to reach 95 gigawatts of renewable installed capacity globally. Okay, if we talk about hydrogen and our position in hydrogen in Iberdrola, it's important to say that we create our area, our green hydrogen department 3 years ago, and this is not only hydrogen is another product that we have, because we have a lot of product for our customer and the industrial clients in order to decarbonize their processes. So, for example, we can have ad hoc contracts. We have also PPAs, bilateral contracts to sell renewable electricity that can be off-site, that means with our renewable portfolio, or can be on-site, creating new renewable assets near the facility. And we also have a smart mobility. So we have a smart mobility in terms of electricity, with batteries, but we also have a smart mobility with fuel cells, with green hydrogen. And we also have another products like industrial green heat. So it's important here to remark that Iberdrola is only focused in green hydrogen, not other colors like brown, gray, or even blue, because for us it makes sense that green hydrogen is the cleanest, and we have a lot of green renewable assets, as I mentioned before. So for us, we only see that green hydrogen is the only color for Iberdrola. Talking about Europe and Spain, of course, there are ambitious objectives in the horizon of 2030. So here you can see the objective of the European Union in terms of hydrogen. So in the whole European Union, we want to reach 40 gigawatts of electrolyzer capacity, and there are some roadmaps in every country or in each country. So here you can see, for example, France is a very ambitious objective, but also Germany, Italy, and of course Spain. So in the right side you can see the investment necessary to do that, and here you can see a bigger detail of our objective in Spain. In Spain, we want to reach 4 gigawatts of installed capacity. That means almost 9,000 millions of investment, and at least to have the 25% of the industry demand today with green hydrogen instead of gray hydrogen, for example. And talking about mobility, we want to reach up to 150 hydrogen refueling stations. It's important here to say that in Spain we only have 5 today. So we have to do a lot of things up to 2030. And we also want to reach up to 200 hydrogen buses. Later, I'm going to speak about one of our projects that is in operation, and is a refueling station of green hydrogen we have nowadays. And to finalize, they also want to test 2 hydrogen trains line when it's impossible to be electrified. Okay, so talking about the projects we have in Spain nowadays, these are 2 projects in operation by Iberdrola. So the first one is the Europe's largest electrolyzer plant built nowadays with 20 megawatts. This plant is owned by Iberdrola and operate also by Iberdrola, and we produce the green hydrogen to give to our final client, that is a fertilizer company. So they can produce green fertilizer, green ammonia, and is based, is in Puerto Llano, that's in the center of Spain. And we also have a mobility project. This is a refueling station of 2.5 megawatts. So we can give to the municipality transport in Barcelona the hydrogen for their 8 buses that they have today, and they are planning to increase the number of buses up to 60 in the next years. So, talking about our industry project, the one who is related to the green fertilizers. Here you can see a conceptual design of the project. So we have the green hydrogen plant, but we also have, of course, a photovoltaic plant of 100 megawatts, and we also have a battery of 5 megawatts that give us the opportunity to balance the plant and to have more electricity when the sun is not shining. Here you can see a 3D model of the project. It's important to say that this project, this hydrogen plant, is inside the facility of our client, so we don't need to transport the hydrogen. We produce the hydrogen in the same place that it is consuming. And here you can see the electrolyzer is 20 megawatts PEM technology from the company Nel that is present in this Congress also. We have a small compressor because we have only have to pressure the hydrogen from 30 bars up to 60 bars, and we have a storage system with 11 deposits that can give us up to 7 tons at 60 bars. So this plant has an investment of 150 million euros. with 1,000 local jobs in the construction phase, and we can generate up to 3,000 tons a year for the fertilizer company that is called Fertiberia. Here you can see two photos of the construction phase, one in July and one in January, and this is the status of the project in May. So we are in the testing process nowadays. We are generating the first volumes of green hydrogen. And here you can see that this project is like the first phase of a very big project we have in alliance with Fertiberia. That is the company that buy us the green hydrogen. So we want not only to have 20 megawatts, we want to increase in the same place in Puerto Llano, but also in another place they have in Palos de la Frontera, that is in the south of Spain. So we want to have finally a project of 800 megawatts at the end of 2027 with more than 1 gigawatt of photovoltaic capacity, a total investment of 1.8 million euros. So this is an important project for us, and we hope we reach it. Okay, talking about our other project, the one in Barcelona. This is a project to give the public transport in Barcelona, to give them the hydrogen for the 8 buses that are running from the streets of Barcelona today. And as I say, they are planning to increase the green hydrogen buses they're going to have up to 60 buses. So in this case, we have to double our current project to give them this hydrogen they need. So today we have a 2.5 megawatt PEM technology, and in this case is from Cummins, that is a supplier from USA. And we have a storage, the main storage system is 1 ton at 350 bars, because we need a high pressure to give this green hydrogen for the buses. So here you can see also the construction phase in October. It took us 6 months to construct this facility, and now this is the photo of our project that is already in operation today. You can see at the bottom of the photo the production site, and near the dispenser side. So the buses are coming here. We give them the hydrogen, and then they go back. We also have some projects under development in Spain. One of them is to make green methanol in the chemical sector. The company is called Foresa, and in this case is also a project of 20 megawatts, and we are thinking to have this project in the year 2026. Excuse me. We also have a pilot plan for the ceramic sector with Porcelanosa. It's a small project. It's 2 megawatts, and we want to have at the end of 2023. And finally, we have a partnership with British Petroleum, BP, to give them the green hydrogen they need in the refinery they have in Castellón. So this is a project of 60 megawatts, so it's an important project. And we also have other projects that we want to develop together. I mean, BP with Iberdrola. So, as we saw before, there are 2 projects in operation in Spain, but we have more than 60 projects under development in 8 countries. And of course, we have our development project of green hydrogen in those countries where we have more renewable assets. So if you remember at the beginning of the presentation, I talked about 5 main countries that are United States, Mexico, Brazil, UK, and of course, Spain. So, talking about our goals for the 2030, Iberdrola is want to install 4 gigawatts in this year, up to this year. That means 100,000 tons a year of green hydrogen, and the total investment, including renewables, of 9 billion. So, as a summary, we can say that we have already 2 real projects in this year. We have an important pipeline of 60 projects in 8 countries, and we have a global portfolio of 3 gigawatts by 2025. And what about the future? We think that green hydrogen is going to be a huge market. So we are thinking not only in projects locally, but also how to move hydrogen in big volume. So in this case, we are thinking in ammonia, in green methanol to the future. So that's the end. Thank you very much, and enjoy the next presentation of USA from Alan Nice. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Annyeonghaseyo. Thank you, everybody, for allowing me to present, and thanks to Kotra, of course, for putting on a great event here. It's good to be back and traveling and talking to people after a few years of COVID, and it's good to be back in Asia. I myself have lived in Asia over 20 years. I was actually here in Korea a lot. I set up a JV for fuel cells a few years back, and been in fuel cells for about 15 years, so I'm quite familiar with the environment, and I really enjoy coming back here, and it's not just for the barbecue chicken. So thanks again, and I'll be talking about a new company which I joined recently called Advent, and how we're looking at scaling up what we call high temperature PEM fuel cells. So of course Hyundai, great company, very famous on their low temperature PEM, as we call it. There's other great companies out in the industry, but we're a little bit different, and I'll talk a little bit how high temperature PEM could be quite interesting for the Korean market. Quick snapshot of who we are. We're a company that was recently listed on NASDAQ. We're focused on, as I mentioned, this high temperature PEM fuel cell technology. We acquired a few companies, which I'll talk a little bit more about, that gives us a little more market experience, and obviously a high potential for growth. We have various manufacturing locations around the world, and potential to expand on that, and I'll talk a little bit slower and talk about how we can scale up. My apologies, it's been a while since I spoke in Asia, so I'll talk a bit slower for the translators. So we do have a long history in terms of where we came from. So we started in material science, essentially what we call MEA development, and that was through various research labs in the US since 2006, developing and creating our core technology, which is the high temperature PEM MEA. Over those years, we fine-tuned it per se sold the MEAs into the market. But then as we came to commercial viability, we actually listed on NASDAQ a little over a year and a half ago. We bought actually 2 companies, one in Denmark with production also in Germany, and another one in California, and conglomerated all this material innovation focused on this high temperature PEM technology, various patents. We're about 200 people right now. So these are some of the research labs. We used a lot of the innovation and a lot of the patents. So we actually bought some of the patents. We maintained it, developed it ourselves, and thus we are ready, I'd say, what we call for prime time commercial applications through all this innovation and technology development over many years. So what's exciting about ours, and quite different than you might have in your traditional fuel cells, is multi-fuel. So that means, yes, hydrogen, of course, and we hope that's green hydrogen, not blue. We also have the capability for methanol. So that's a very interesting fuel that's very popular in the marine sector, both in Korea and globally. Most of the marine companies feel methanol will be one of the key drivers for decarbonization. E-fuels and even natural gas with a reformer, of course, is something that we can incorporate into our MEA or our fuel cell. So it's a bit unique where we have this multi-fuel approach, which is unique in the industry. And then the technology itself. So of course, over time, like any technology, we will develop further capabilities, cost down structures, cost reduction structures. But what's unique also about it is we can use the heat, which is very important in, for instance, what they call CHP applications. We operate at a little bit higher heat, and I'll talk about that. But also we need less cooling. I know it sounds counterintuitive, but high temperature PEM actually needs less cooling requirements than a typical low temperature PEM. So again, that means, what does it mean? Cost savings, of course, for the systems as well. And of course, with heat utilization, that increases our efficiency, above 80%, which is quite exciting, of course. So with this material science understanding, resiliency on our MEA, we believe that on lifetime, we can get basically the same lifetimes that are typically in the market on low temperature PEM, in the range of 20,000 hours. We can get very similar startup times on the start of the systems, which on PEM is very interesting compared to, let's say, SRC. It's in the seconds, not hours. And operating at these higher temperatures, as mentioned, we can use the heat as a value, of course, right? So here's just a bit of a summary where we think our strengths are in terms of the material science or MEA, the fuel flexibility, and also combining that into the systems. So we've learned a lot through various acquisitions on how to develop complete systems. And our goal is actually to work with like-minded partners to develop them in other markets and other applications. We don't see ourselves as developing all the systems ourselves. We see ourselves in cooperation with other companies around the world to develop these systems, depending on the fuel requirements, depending on the applications and the needs of potential partners. So that's a bit of unique. We're not just selling MEAs. What we're doing or trying to do is develop solutions with other people. With scaling up, and you've probably seen this from other fuel cell suppliers, but ours, to be fair, is quite similar. Cost targets, cost reduction targets based on our technology, where we're looking at $250 a kilowatt. This is probably very similar as famous companies like Hyundai and others. Oops, I pressed it too quickly. And basically ensuring that we have cost competitive focus that's comparative to whatever else is in the industry in terms of PEM technology. Where we are today, we have, for our new technology, the prototype stack is already developed. It's a 5 kilowatt stack. The new optimized stack with a balance of plant will be ready next year in the 30 kilowatt range and 50 kilowatt range, and mass production expected in 2024. And that's for our new technology. We have existing technology today, which I'll talk about as well. How we stack up. So everybody says, how do you stack up versus SOFC versus all these other technologies? So one point I want to reiterate, though, is PEM technology is really the global leader. Let's be fair about that. It's in almost all the applications today. We have hundreds of companies globally promoting PEM, and we're one of those companies. So the capability for cost reductions, I think, are definitely better in PEM, or much stronger. In terms of the other key technology aspects, efficiency, fuel flexibility, we're a bit unique where we tick essentially all those boxes. So we have the capability for very good power density as well. We don't really require the water for recirculation. And then, of course, cost reductions, as I mentioned, which I think are key for this industry to really take off. So where we are in terms of applications, with the acquisition of a company called Cerenergy in Denmark, we're one of the world leaders in deploying actually these high temperature PEM fuel cells. So we've learned a lot in this area. We've deployed about 1,000 of these systems, primarily in what we call critical backup applications, a lot in the developing countries where the power grid is maybe a bit unstable. So what we do is we put these as a diesel generator replacement. Okay, so that's where we've done a lot of our work and learned a lot in this area. We've developed a lot of work in marine sector, smaller scale, to be fair, anywhere from 10 kilowatts to 100 kilowatts. But basically, we've already got DNV certification or approval in principle. I think one of only 2 companies globally who have this, and allows us to put our fuel cells in open water into ocean-going vessels, which is a little bit unique. And of course, as we scale up in larger systems, we'd also look at combining with like-minded partners or joint development to expand in this area. In defense, it's a bit of a unique application, and we've already got U.S. Department of Defense approval for small wearable systems. So the challenge with batteries, as we know, are they're extremely heavy. It's very hard to put batteries on a backpack. But for us, you can see here that the power density is very interesting, where, for instance, we'd need about 9 kilograms of methanol versus 55 kilograms of battery for the same sort of application. So you can see here that the power density and saving in weight is dramatically different. And the nice thing is we're using existing fuel. We're actually using windshield washer fluid. So that might cause a few jokes or laughs, but it is true. This is what we use, which is essentially methanol. And that's a challenge often in the defense industry where they don't want to introduce new fuels. So they use windshield washer fluid, which they have to use anyways. So that's a kind of a unique area that we're also doing a lot of work. And this was based on a company we acquired in California. So scaling up. Obviously, we have to get there. One of the unique areas we're embarking on is what we call heat and power application, HIPO as we call it, 3 to 5 kilowatts. And what's exciting about that for us is we actually were granted €782 million grant from the EU to advance production in this area, primarily in Greece, but for the whole European Union. So that was only, I believe, 2 weeks ago where we were granted that funding, and you can see over the next 6 years we'll be getting extensive funding to advance our production capabilities in Europe. So that's a big development for us, and we'll take that learning and take what we have in terms of our existing technology, expand on it into larger. This is a picture of our 100 kilowatt system today that's running in a marine application, but basically scaling up. This is, to be fair, a smaller system, but I don't want to speak over this. Okay. 감사합니다. So yeah, basically we'll take our medium power and then obviously scale that into larger power applications, which we've learned on these sort of smaller applications. Power density is very, very good. This is our concept. Imagine for a 1 megawatt system. This doesn't include inverters, to be fair, but it's a simple 1 megawatt system. And the design that we have is essentially in that range of very small scale and very good power density. Can be used for remote applications, off-grid, etc. Then, as we scale up, you can see here the development path where we go from a 5 kilowatt to 15 to 30 and to larger building blocks. So this is the plan that we have already in place in our R&D and engineering. The pathway is there. We have existing technology already supporting this. And we also have the MEA and core technology already stable and been verified to develop these applications. And again, we're looking for partners in Korea and elsewhere to also work with us to develop these applications. Again, scaling up, cost reductions. We have various specific areas where we can reduce platinum catalysts in the MEA, weight reductions, and all the other reductions that are required for scaling up. We have a clear path towards those reductions as well. Cost reductions, of course, part of that will be scale and different applications. If we're only focused on automotive, I don't think we'll get there. So we're looking at power applications. We're looking at marine applications and other end user products to allow us to scale globally as well and reduce the cost. So this is just a summary to say we're keen. We think we have the core technology, which is definitely proven in the field. And in Korea, we'd like to work with partners to ensure that this technology, which is very unique in terms of fuel flexibility, in terms of high temperature applications, CHP is available in the Korean market fairly soon. And with that, thank you very much for your time, and definitely open for questions. I'll be walking around probably near the Canadian Pavilion to see old friends, but I'll be around if you have any other questions. Thank you. And I have to introduce my next speaker is Andrea Pousidou, who will be coming up, and apologies if I didn't pronounce it right, but thank you for your time, everybody.
Good afternoon. I'm delighted and very honored to be here to introduce you the portfolio of IMI Group for the hydrogen value chain. I will start introducing who is IMI. We are a specialist engineering company for design and manufacture of highly engineering products. We are 10,000 employees. The company is based in United Kingdom, Birmingham. And our motto is breakthrough engineering for a better world. The company is divided into three main divisions. Everyone has his own nice color. I come and I belong from critical engineering company, around almost 3,000 employees. And we are specialized in working with critical process in the industrial, any type of industrial process, from oil and gas, energy and power. Then we have precision engineering, which focus on creating motion with fluid control components. And finally, we have the hydronic engineering. Hydronic engineering deals with heating and controlling and cooling for civil application. IMI is not one single company. It's a collection of a large deal of companies, a large number of companies, which are the best in class, each one for its typical field of application. We don't have the time to name all the company here, but I can tell you that our divisional sectors are the marine, nuclear, oil and gas process, water, petrochemicals, metals, sanitary power, and of course, we are very happy right now to introduce what we do more specifically for hydrogen. Where are our locations? The company, as I told you, the headquarters are in United Kingdom, but we are literally everywhere in the world. Of course, we have also an office here in Seoul for Korean, but we are basically everywhere. We are hydrogen ready. What does it mean? Means that we can support the hydrogen value chain in virtually any aspect, from production to processing, process and transportation, and finally on the hydrogen application. I will name just of a few the application for time constraint. In the hydrogen production, we have a very new brand which is called IMI Vivo, and this brand will provide a green PEM electrolyzer. We will see more in detail in upcoming slides. Then we have, of course, our sister company, Norgren, which is specialized in components for the BOP, the balance of plant, so all the valves and components that you need in an electrolyzer. On the hydrogen processing sector, we are very active with several companies, CCI, Orton, PBM, STI, Trufo Italy, which provide valves for liquefaction and ammonia plant. We will see also, again, some detail, but we will also see another use case very important for the transportation and distribution of liquid hydrogen, whereas one of our companies, IMI Orton, which is located in Italy, Piacenza, and we will, in this use case, learn how we solve a customer problem for a liquid hydrogen valve. And as well, in this sector, the distribution, we have components for hydrogen refueling station. Finally, in the application, we have components for hydrogen fuel cell, backup power of application. We have a booth here, not far from here, and I kindly encourage you to pay us a visit in our booth to learn all about all the components that we can provide in the hydrogen value chain. In the remaining slides, I will focus mostly on the, okay, these are the key brands I already introduced, okay, so we can skip, but in this presentation I will focus mostly on IMI Orton and IMI Remosa, which is the brand that will provide IMI Vivo electrolyzer. So let's start with this very important liquid hydrogen case study. The challenge. How does an industrial gas provider identify and secure the essential expertise required for a liquid hydrogen storage facility? One of the world's largest provider of gas in the world is already building a very large, the biggest for Asia market, hydrogen liquefaction plant in China. Okay. The facility needs cryogenic valve that need to handle liquid hydrogen at minus 253 Celsius degree. Okay. That is a problem. All the cryogenic valves are not designed to go the normal usage. I mean, the standard, will say, valves used for the cryogenic sector are in like in CNG application, for example, do not deal with this temperature. But IMI, we made it, we managed, and we were able to successfully design, build, test, and certify valves for liquid hydrogen at a test temperature which is minus 269 Celsius. That means only 4 degrees above absolute zero. It's something really incredible, but this is not the first application. One very important concept I would like to take you away. This valve is not a prototype, it's not just the first time we do it. Those valves are already operating in the United States at NASA for space application. You know, liquid hydrogen is required to power rockets. Hopefully tomorrow another one rocket, the Artemis 1, will fly to the moon, but will fly to the moon also thanks to our valves. Now, second use case, green hydrogen production. How do we produce the hydrogen and why do we need the hydrogen? If we are here probably we are already aware of the importance of the hydrogen, so I will go fast on this. But hydrogen, high energy content, it's a critical feedstock that can provide 0 greenhouse emissions, and it's one of the most viable and credible routes toward, let me say, an inversion of the very frightening and concerning climate changes that we are all experiencing in our own lives. Okay. Electrolyzers are the key system in a green hydrogen economy, and are one of the most important tools because they represent the, let me say, beginning of the hydrogen production chain. Here I am showing a typical green hydrogen plant. So the value chain is we start from renewable energy sources in order to have a so-called green hydrogen. Then the renewable power source will drive the IMI Vivo electrolyzer, and then it's up to the customer to decide how to use the hydrogen. It can be liquefied and used for other application, or it can be used at low pressure storage, or using a compressor, you have the so-called power to mobility. You can use the fueling station. A very important point that I would like to introduce even now, I will go more in detail later, but it's very important, is that per our DNA, per our approach to the market, we don't have a standard product. We don't have a one-size-fits-all design, but the design of the electrolyzer will be carefully bespoken and made customized for the specific application of the customer. That is one of the biggest differentiators that our product has. We used the PEM technology, so the proton exchange membrane technology for the electrolysis. Why we chose this application instead of the alkaline, so ABWE, so alkaline water electrolysis. The design we are using provides a more compact footprint. Footprint is very important when we are dealing with this type of application, because the footprint of the electrolyzer is a space that is potentially removed from the solar panel, and so is decreasing the efficiency of the system. A very rapid system response and flexibility, dynamic operation, and this makes the system ideal to be coupled with renewable energy sources. What do sun and wind have in common from the energy standpoint? That they are unpredictable and fluctuating energy sources. They are not constant. So a system must be fast and ready to follow the load coming from the renewables without losing any energy. Now I will introduce the IMI Vivo electrolyzer. Vivo means life in Esperanto language. Esperanto is the language that was supposed to be the common language for all the world, and we like and we love to take this term from a common language. Okay. What are our key features of our product? First of all, as you can see from the picture, is a containerized turnkey solution. It's a plant that is almost plug and play. You deliver to location, you connect the utilities. What do we need? We need basically water and electricity. Okay. The water has to be drinkable tap water. To reach the ultra pure grade of purity of the water that is required for the process, there is a filtering system which is inside the electrolyzer, so built in. At the moment, we are very new in the market. Okay, IMI and the company has 100 years of history, has installation all over the world. We have 10,000 employees, so a very, very robust structure, industrial execution, troubleshooting, installation, and commissioning structure, yet the IMI Vivo electrolyzer is a new product in the market. At the moment, we are focusing on a scale range which is roughly starting from 100 kilowatt as input power up to 5 megawatt. We use a modular design, so depending on the size, again, the most important takeaway I would like you bring home about this product is that if you ask us a catalog of the product, we will tell you, no, we don't have a catalog. Just tell me what you need, I will make a proposal which is fitting exactly to your size and what you want. Okay, so modular design. The stack is not made by us. It's made, we have a partnership with a German company, a very large company that is generating a state-of-the-art, latest technology, top quality stack. And we will focus on what is around the stack. So the balance of plant. The power consumption will be below 60 kilowatt hours per kilogram of hydrogen. And we will assembly, just like a Lego toy, your electrolyzer based on the stack power of units of 100 kilowatt and 1 megawatt. The system design by default is according to the ISO 22734 standard, but this is just for the architecture, of course, and this is again where IMI can bring an additional value that not everybody can do in the world, is in the local certification, in the local regulation. IMI is used, IMI engineers, quality control engineers are used to certify our product everywhere in the world, from Asia to Canada, United States, Brazil, Russia, Kazakhstan, India. Name a country and we have a product there, and that product is perfectly accepted by the local regulation. It's not easy. I won't lie, it's not easy. But we can do, and this is also what we can do with our new electrolyzer. Now, I'm assuming you are familiar with the concept of an electrolyzer, so in case not, again, please pay us a visit in our booth. We have our engineers that can talk with you, and we have also a fantastic Korean sales structure, so we can also explain everything in your language. My Korean, unfortunately, is not very developed. Okay, and another important aspect that will differentiate our proposal is that what we feel from the customer, what we hear with our intimacy of the customer. Okay, there are maybe, you name it, there is a big project in Saudi Arabia when they need to install a 100 gigawatt plant. That at the moment is not our target. But there are many, many users which at the moment are like discovering hydrogen. And so we have requests in which the customer is not asking for a 500 kilowatt electrolyzer. The customer comes to us and says, okay, I will have two fuel cell-based truck, and I need to refuel this fuel cell truck twice every day. How much hydrogen do I need? We can do the calculation, and we can design a complete system telling them what is the type of the fueling station, the size of the electrolyzer, and the type of storage. And we can also evaluate with them the installation of the power plant, the solar plant, in case the customer doesn't do that. So this is what we call a turnkey solution. In what you see in this picture, you see at the center, of course, our product, the IMI Vivo electrolyzer. But, and all the other components, and you see also, for example, the big vessel on the left, which is the pressure storage. Again, this is directly built by us. Then the other components, the compressor, the high pressure storage, and the fueling station is not an IMI product. It will be sourced from the market according to the customer wishes and specification. But the difference is that the customer is not receiving 5 different loose components. He's receiving one single package with one single owner of the problem. If there is a problem, the customer doesn't have to struggle between 5 vendors, understanding what is the problem and finding then how to solve the problem. There is one responsible company, and that responsible has a name, and the name is IMI. Some main facts about electrolyzer. We are new in the market, but we are not losing time, and we are very well ahead at the moment in the market. We have already delivered the detail engineering for a 3 megawatt PEM electrolyzer in Sardinia, Italy. Very nice island, by the way, that's where I come from. And we have a prototype that will be starting operating in November this year in the same factory in Sardinia. Okay, commissioning expecting in few months. It will be a 250 kilowatt unit, but in the same time, we already have 2 customer orders, so 2 commercial units sold to a customer, to 2 different customers. The 2 units have 500 kilowatt power and 100 normal cubic meter per hour delivery. The commissioning will be in first quarter of 2023. So we are already in the market in spite of being very new. Then finally, we are just moving. I have a new office. I have never been there because the opening of the factory was this week, and now I'm here in Korea. So next week, I will go in the office, and I have to make a different road. Hope I don't get lost. And that is the new plant that was delivered by IMI. And in this new plant, next year, we will install our own electrolyzer on the 1 megawatt sides, coupled with a 200 kilowatt fuel cell, in order to make a completely green plant that can work on the day thanks to the solar energy and work on the night thanks to the hydrogen accumulating in the system. So, again, what can we bring and what can we bring on top of the existing offer on the market? Tailored design, according to the specification. We read all the specification of the customer. We come from the oil and gas world. We are used to project where you can have 1,000 pages of specification for the instrumentation and 200 pages for the metal composition. We read all the pages, and we provide a product that is in compliance with everything. We have decades of know-how, and we are sitting on our know-how, or literally thousands of engineers, subject matter expert in any engineering matter coming from IMI. Thanks to our project execution, we have our worldwide supply chain. We have our worldwide manufacturing chain and also installation and commissioning. We can support you in spite, regardless of what country in the world you are sitting right now. We can provide testing, installation, and commissioning and service. And just like we do in our normal world in the oil and gas, we are field service partners for the entire lifetime of the plant. Kamsahamnida. Thank you for your attention.